All right, guys, here's number two. I had to go and find the worksheet because I wasn't at home. I wasn't at school. So, all right, guys. So, we are down to the last half. I'll be there tomorrow at lunch. And so, we need to get rid of the square root. So, we're solving equations. Don't forget, solving equations uh, require us to just work inverse. So, how do I get rid of the square root? I'm going to square. And again, sometimes I can't write real well with this. I'm going to square both sides. And so that's going to get me a 2r plus 32 on this side. And then that's going to get me r plus 4 squared on the other side, which don't forget is r plus 4 multiplied together. So you get r squared plus 8r plus 16. Don't forget that middle term. And then you're going to move everything to one side. And so that's going to get you x squared. I should have enough room. So I'm going to move everything this way. And so I'm going to get 0 equals r squared. 8r minus 2r is going to be plus 6r. And then we're going to do 16 minus 32, which is going to be negative 16. And when I factor that out, what multiplies together to make negative 16 but adds to make positive 6? It's going to be x minus 8, x plus 8 actually, and x minus 2. If I set those equal to 0, I get negative 8, and I get x equals negative 8 and x equals 2. So then the extraneous solutions are solutions that you get that don't work. And well, if I plug negative 8 back in to the equation here, I get 4 equals negative 4, and that solution doesn't make sense. So therefore, my only solution is B right there. So again, there's this one here. I would move this first to the other side. So I'm going to add 1. We're going to do SADMAP. So I'm going to get 2 equals the square root of 1 minus n. And then when I square both sides, I'm going to get 4 equals 1 minus n. And then when I move this over, what happened here? Oh, I got my negative. We're going to move this over. 1 over here, it's going to equal 3. 3 equals negative n. And then when I divide by my negative, I get n equals negative 3. And so that is how I pull this answer off. So let's slide down to the next solving equation here. Don't forget, we're doing SADMAP. And that means I have to do add or subtract first. So that means this add addition, I got to do the opposite. And that gives me n to the 5th at 3 over 2 equals 27. Don't mind my dog in the background. He's going crazy because he thinks I'm an extra person outside right now. So he's crazy. N plus 5. And then we're going to work the inverse, 2/3. So then this is going to be 2/3. So I'm going to get n plus 5 equals 27 to the 2/3. And then that ends up giving me the cube root of 27, which is 3. And I square that. You can put that in your calculator. But don't forget, it turns into this. I'll do it up here. This is the cube root of 27. And then I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to square it. So that's 3 squared, which is 9. So I get n plus 5 equals 9. And then I subtract 5, n equals 4. So that's how they come up with that answer. So let's talk about natural log stuff. So don't forget, we have some properties. When you add natural logs, you multiply. So I got to multiply this stuff together. So we end up with this equation, which is the natural log of 5 times 2 x plus 6. So I'm multiplying that. So I'm distributing it in, really. And that's going to equal 3. What's my inverse operation? My inverse operation of natural log is e. So it's going to be e. And so then these cancel. And then I can distribute this in, and I get 10x, 10x plus 30 equals e to the negative 3. And if I move the 30 over, I get 10x equals e to the 3 minus 30. And then I got to divide everything by 10. That's an x. And so x equals e to the third minus 30 over 10. So that's kind of how you tackle those. Same idea with this one. We may run out of room a little bit. Well, we're going to divide. So this is going to be the natural log of 9 divided by negative 4x minus 6 equals 2. Because when I multiply, I add, but when I divide, I subtract. So then from there, I'm going to get natural log of 9 divided by negative 4x minus 6 equals 2. And then I got to raise everything to the power of e. And so then I can work with the power of e and work my way. So this is e squared. And then those cancel. And then I cross multiply and solve from there. I'm going to run out of room, so I don't want to get too far. And then, so let's do this one in a different color so we can see it now. So now from here, just don't forget to put this one over 1, and then you just cross multiply and then work and solve for x from there. This one, you have natural log of 16, log of 16, log of 16, they cancel. So you're going to get, we'll take this one and we'll move it way out here. We're going to get 2 minus 3a equals negative 5a minus 7. And you do that, and you're going to end up solve for a, and you'll get negative 9 halves. And then this last one here, number 20, I'll change colors so we can alternate it. So again, we got to do SADMEP, so I'm going to add the 7 over. So I'm going to get negative 8 times 2 to the 4x equals negative 30. I'm going to divide by negative 8 because you can't multiply those two together. So I get 2 to the 4x equals 30 divided by 8. You can simplify that to 15 over 4. And the inverse operation of the base 2 is log base 2. So those are going to cancel. So I'm going to get 4x equals log base 2 of 15 over 4. And then we divide that by 4, and that gives me, so I divide 4 by both sides, and that'll give me my answer, which is right there. Same idea with this one, except you're going to put it in a calculator. We're going to move the 2 over. And so we're going to get 4.9 e to the x minus 2 equals 1. And we're going to divide that by 4.9 on both sides. So we get e to the x minus 2 equals 1 divided by 4.9. What's the inverse of e? It's the natural log. That cancels. So we're going to get x minus 2 equals the natural log of 1.4.9 divided by 4.9. And that will add 2 to both sides. And plug that into the calculator, and it'll give you an answer. Same thing here. We're going to graph. This one. So I'll take this one out here. So we have to move. Don't forget that this is our h. So we're going to go to the right 10, and we are going to move this over. which is going to make it like 97. So we're going to go up 97. So we're going to the right 10 and up 97. So we're going to go to the right 10, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go way up here to 97. And this is a graph that looks like that. Probably not going to cross the x-axis, so we may not get an answer, but go ahead and solve it anyways. So e to the x minus 10 equals approximately 96.2. 96.2, because I got to move the 3.8. I take the natural log of both sides. I get x minus 10 equals the natural log of 96.2. And then I move that over and get 10, and then we kind of work our way from there. So that kind of is how we tackle that equation. And I'm trying to think here. Oh, actually, this would be negative. This is why this isn't actually, this is negative. If I move the 100 over, it'll be negative. So let me clear this out here. Where's my eraser? There it is. So sorry on the graph, guys. So the graph is a little messed up. So I'll go back to drawing the graph. Because if I subtract 100 here and move this over, my k is negative, which is way down here. And then I'm going to move over. We got 1 and 0. We're going to move to the right and down to here. So my graph curves like that. And then my answer is 14.56, which would be my x-intercept right there. That's kind of how you graph those. Condense it. We just work our way. Don't forget that divide means, subtract means divide. These become an exponent up here. The 5 becomes an exponent up here. So we rewrite this real quick as natural log of x squared for the exponent and natural log of y to the 5th. And then that is a division problem. So it's natural log of x squared divided by y to the 5th. There's my answer. Just the opposite here. You can distribute this 4 in here. And so we get the natural log of a to the 4th, b to the 24th. And we know that multiplication is addition. So it's the natural log of a to the 4th plus the natural log of b to the 24th. And then we move both of those down in front. And when we do that, we get our answer right there. So, all right, guys, I will see you at lunch. There's your video. Talk to you soon.